Robert Monroe defined our waking reality through a concept he called primary phasing. It is ordinary consciousness, strictly tethered to time, space, and the inputs of our five physical senses. In the 1950s, Monroe's daily life was strictly corporate. He ran a research and development division specializing in sound production for network radio. That rigid baseline fractured in 1958 when Monroe began experiencing involuntary out-of-body states that dismantled his prior understanding of physical reality. Rather than interpreting these events through mysticism or philosophy, he applied the tools he already trusted. He turned his R&D team's strict methodology inward to investigate himself. By grounding a personal crisis in the rigorous procedures of a corporate laboratory, Monroe created a technical system for experiences that usually defy description. His research team began by analyzing the physical effects of audio, testing how varying acoustic frequencies interacted with the electrical rhythms of the brain. They observed that specific, layered patterns of sound, played slightly out of phase, reliably induced phases of awareness that shifted away from the ordinary. These engineered acoustic signals allowed the ordinary human mind to reliably access regions of consciousness previously thought unreachable. This presented the engineers with a significant contradiction. They had to figure out how to capture, measure, and control a phenomenon occurring completely outside the bounds of physical space. By isolating the specific audio signals that triggered these shifts, the team turned a subjective biological mystery into an objective mechanical engineering problem. The data proved compelling enough that by 1971, the R&D division formally spun off, establishing itself as an independent entity, the Monroe Institute. To verify their ongoing research, the institute drew on the expertise of hundreds of independent professionals, including medical doctors, psychologists, and educators. From their collected data, Monroe formulated a core theory. The physical human body acts essentially as a tuning mechanism for the mind. Think of consciousness as a continuous spectrum of frequencies. Waking physical awareness is the tuning needle centered on a single station, picking up space-time. Common experiences like daydreaming, deep sleep, or intoxication occur when focus slips. The needle drifts along the exact same dial. The Institute proposed a radical next step, that this internal dial could be deliberately, safely, and accurately manipulated using external, engineered audio. This phasing model took the expansive, intimidating concept of human consciousness and scaled it down to a manageable, tunable mechanism. Testing this hypothesis required a sterile environment. The Institute utilized an isolated testing booth, relying strictly on sound, with no drugs, hypnosis, or subliminal suggestion involved. The subject's only input was the engineered, out-of-phase sound delivered directly into their ears. The process presented a critical risk. When pushed into these distant phases of awareness, a subject's analytical mind easily loses focus. To counter this, an exterior technician actively monitored the subject's physical responses and brainwaves, communicating with them through an intercom. Hearing the technician's voice through the headphones, the subject experienced it as a surrogate fact brain. It guided their analytical focus, keeping them tethered to logic while their own mind drifted into profound states. This orchestration led to the primary outcome of their research, a process they called hemispheric synchronization, or Hemi-Sync. The result is a state of coherent, whole-brain thinking, achieved when neither half of the mind is allowed to dominate the other. By pairing advanced audio with careful monitoring, the Institute successfully constructed a reliable mechanism for exploring the depths of subjective inner space. Decades of this work culminated in what Monroe called a different overview. The data suggested consciousness extends endlessly downward to the subatomic level and outward far beyond physical space and time. Yet, in contrast to the successful output of the laboratory, Monroe admitted to hearing an inescapable, accusing inner voice. The voice pointed out a specific failure. He had spent his life engineering a reliable tool for utilizing the whole human brain. He had done nothing to prepare his subjects for what actually matters once they leave the Earth life system behind. Rigorous engineering can build the vessel to carry the mind to its furthest limits. But science remains powerless to answer what actually waits for us in the dark.